What is up, guys? Archon Tsunami here, bringing you guys another YouTube video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Call of Duty Modern Warfare Alpha that was live this past weekend. I want to talk about some of the gameplay stuff as well as some of the server issues that we had and just, general things for the alpha that you would take from it. Because the beta is coming, I think, in 2 weeks' time or roughly maybe a week's time. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about it. So, I booted it up. I think it was like 1 p.m. Friday. I was able to play about 7 or 8 games perfectly fine, and I was able to party up with my cousin. We went through, did whatever, got to see all the new maps, had fun with it, and I think it was like 3 p.m. they added docks to the rotation, and from there the servers were just unplayable for like the rest of the night. It seemed like he couldn't connect or I couldn't connect, and then all of a sudden we managed to connect around I think 6 or 7, and by that point it became an issue where we couldn't party up anymore. It kept saying that user didn't have a valid party to join, and it just kept doing this. We both restarted our game, and in one case it actually prevented him from getting back on the servers for whatever reason. I am a bit concerned about the server status, especially with like hotfixes. I think the hotfixes might cause some issues for people, especially if they hotfix anything in the beta. I'm sure the servers will do the exact same thing as they did on Friday. I'm hoping this isn't the case. I'm hoping that whatever it was that triggered that is sorted out before the beta. I can't imagine it was, the player base, because it was running smooth, like I said, for a couple hours, and then just once the hotfix came through, it just immediately just stopped working, and then just couldn't party up anymore for the rest of the night. So I'm hoping that in the beta that doesn't happen when they do a hotfix. Outside of that, I did fix a couple of things on the menu. When I first got into the game, I noticed in the upper left-hand corner, like when you're, picking gunfight and that, the text was like super, super small. I don't think that was intentional. I think in a hotfix, I'll show you guys the Reddit notes as well that they posted, and we can kind of talk about that stuff too. But they posted that, and I think that was one of the fixes that they had, is that they fixed the text. In-game wise, the game feels really weird compared to every other Call of Duty. I think it might just be the movement. You feel a lot more sluggish when you're running around. It's not like the arcade shooter from before, where you could just run, slide, run and gun and kill everybody. Now it seems a little bit harder to do that. I don't know, like, if it's because you don't pull your guns up right away, or if it's just, I don't know, there's something weird about it. Like, momentum-wise, like, when you're running and trying to turn at the same time, it's almost like you don't have the full turn momentum for some reason. I don't know. Really weird. The other thing that kind of maybe fits into that is I was trying to ADS a lot. And for whatever reason, I don't know if they're going to implement it later in the actual game, but there is no ADS sensitivity in this game. So you can have your sensitivity on like, 9 or 10, and you can go to turn and ADS at the same time, and the moment you hold down the left trigger to ADS, you just come to a crawl. Like, it doesn't matter what your sensitivity is, you will just come to a crawl while you're trying to slide your crosshairs. So there's like no more drag scoping for snipers, it feels like. Or if there is, it's like really hard to pull off now. It was driving me nuts the entire time I was playing the beta. And mind you, I haven't played on PlayStation, at least a shooter, in about 3 or 4 months. So it was definitely getting to me a little bit. Some of the guns had a weird time to kill too. The shotguns I thought were just ridiculously overpowered. There's a couple, I think there's 2 shotguns that may use slugs. One of them looked like it was loading slugs, so I'm assuming that there's 2 that use slugs in this game. And they will one-shot you all the way across the 2v2 maps. I am not a fan of this. I don't mind if there's like one gun maybe that has the slug gimmick with it, But all of the shotguns seem to be really strong cross-map. So I'm hoping that maybe this gets addressed. Like, I'm fine with shotguns being, all-powerful mid-range one-shot machines as well as close range, but they should not be mapping people. Like, I don't care. I know they want to go for a more realistic feel, but no, I do not want shotguns mapping people. I don't mind if it's a slug, because a slug at least makes sense and you have to aim it. But, I don't know. It seemed like I was dying to shotguns cross-map way too frequently. One of the pistols they did buff, I think it's the M19. That thing was terrible on Friday. It's still terrible today as well. They did buff it. I think it's one less shot to kill now, from like 6 to 5, or maybe it was 5 to 4, something like that. It's still horrible to use. What other guns really stood out? The Odin, I think, is really strong. Like, it's a full assault rifle that kills in 2 shots at mid-range, but it does have a lot of recoil to make up for it. And since I think there is bullet drop in the multiplayer, I know there's going to be bullet drop in the single player. They've already confirmed that. I'm thinking there's bullet drop in multiplayer too, because it seemed like the guns were just too inconsistent at long range. Like, it seemed like there was times where you could put your crosshair on somebody and just light them up, and then there's times where, you know, you may get a hit marker, and your crosshair could be like right on top of them, especially with the 50 cal. That thing is also really strong. I personally wish they would nerf it a little bit, but we'll have to see. I think it's just way too strong right now. You can 2-tap people again like shotguns cross map, so it makes certain assault rifles feel pretty useless. The time to kill in this game is pretty quick. It's very rare that you run into a gun outside of the M19 that doesn't just instantly kill somebody up close. Even kind of far away, time to kill is pretty fast. So the assault or the submachine guns that I got, like the MP5, and that felt pretty weak. The MP7 kind of felt pretty weak. But, I mean, they did have a fast fire rate, so if you could just get the gun on their heads, you would melt them instantly at mid-range. So I'm guessing you're going to want to aim for headshots with the SMGs in this game. Same with the assault rifles, because, you know, otherwise you're just going to get killed. I don't know. Like I said, I think shotguns are just way too strong right now. They shouldn't dominate all 3 ranges. Snipers felt pretty good. The sniper that you were able to use, I'm assuming, is probably going to be the last sniper unlocked, but it felt really good. It seemed like it was a one-hit kill no matter where you hit them. It was very rare that you'd get hit markers with it. I think if I shot somebody in the foot, that's the only time I'd get hit markers with it, and that's fine with me. Throwing knives felt really good as well from the equipment slot. They seem to go where you were aiming them. It doesn't seem like you have to lead as far anymore. Grenades in general feel kind of good. I don't know if it was just the 2v2 mode, but I do know I got a lot of like flak jacket markers, so I'm assuming it's just the 2v2 mode where you can't kill people with explosives within like a certain time frame, so that way you're not just getting instantly grenaded by both players. So I think they implemented something there to kind of give you some protection. But at times, I don't even know. It seemed like it was buggy. Like at times, like the rocket launchers wouldn't kill, and then there's other times where, you know, you wait like 20 seconds and then you rocket somebody and insta-kill them. Like no protection came up, so I don't know what was causing the flak jacket markers. I couldn't narrow it down. I know there was a couple rounds where I got rocket kills, and it seemed like it was like right at the start of the round, and then there was like said other times where just nope. 3 minutes into a round and he still has flak jacket protection from explosives, so no clue what that's about. That's probably a 2v2 mode exclusive thing. Flashbangs. The flashbangs aren't bad. The stun grenades freaking suck. The stun grenades, they could barely graze you and you are not going to move. You are just not going to move. I think you can put your sensitivity at a really high sensitivity to kind of combat that. Like, honestly, I think what they should do with stun grenades is they should just make it to where the stun grenade overrides your current sensitivity and then just makes you, you know, at a set sensitivity until it expires. So that way you can't just cheese it by having your sensitivity really high, so when you get stunned you can still swing your markers around, because it doesn't really give you a flash effect as much as it just slows down your movement and your turn. So flashbangs, like I said, don't really do much. The stim shots are back from the last Call of Duty, Black Ops 4, so you can take stim shots as your secondary tactical and use them to regen HP. They're pretty instantaneous. There's no wait time. I think in Black Ops 4 you took one and then it would take like a couple seconds in order for it to take effect. Not the case here in Modern Warfare. It's pretty much instantaneous. What else is there to go over? I think that's really it for the guns in that. Next up, I guess I will go grab the Reddit posts and we can go over those. So basically they just go over how they added the new map that I'm playing on now, and they also added the other gunfight mode that they were going to add for the alpha. Personally, I didn't care for it. I played one game of it and found that it was insanely hard to play, in the sense that it seemed like the enemy team always had like gun advantage on us. Like they had fully auto guns. Me and my cousin had a Deagle and an M14, and they just pretty much grabbed their guns instantly and were on our side of the map and were just killing us before we could even react. So it definitely wasn't that fun of a mode for me, and it didn't seem like the gun stayed static. Like, you know how you swap sides every like 2 rounds or so. It seemed like the guns were swapping with us. So we got stuck with a Deagle M14 every single round. Like there was no, gun swap. Like, one side will get like an MT7 or something, and one side will get an M14. So, I don't know. That mode just wasn't fun to me. I'm sure some of you out there had a lot of fun with it. Some of the issues they were looking into were head glitches. Me personally, I did experience an issue with head glitches where it seemed like they could shoot me and I just couldn't see their heads at all. There were times where I could see the nameplate and there was no head, so I didn't know where to aim. And then there was times where I just couldn't see the nameplate at all and they were still shooting at me from across the map. So I don't know. Hopefully this gets resolved before the beta comes out, because I have a nasty feeling like Domination's going to be absolutely miserable to play if people can hide their entire head while still being able to shoot over a surface. Explosives going through multiple surfaces. This one, I don't know if I experienced. I don't think I did. Like, grenades never really went through multiple walls. I think there was maybe 1 or 2 occasions where a grenade seemed like it landed on the opposite side of a wall and it still killed me or blew me up and did damage. Flashbangs, I know, were the same thing, where it seemed like I was constantly getting stunned no matter where the stun landed. It just never missed. So I'm guessing that might have had something to do with it. And they're also talking about bullet penetration going through multiple surfaces or inconsistencies with it. This one I definitely think is a problem. I don't know if it's a 2v2 feature that just protects players from being killed instantly off spawn, but if you played the 2v2, you know that there's a silhouette for like 6 seconds of the enemy team that shows you kind of where they're spawned at. And I would actually try to line my crosshair up at the start of the round, and the moment we went live, I'd try to fire through the nearest wall to see if I could get a headshot. It never really worked out, never panned out, so I'm assuming that it's probably just something to do with the 2v2 spawn protection preventing me from doing so. But it did seem weird that there were some surfaces that I couldn't shoot through, and then there was times where I was getting shot through said surfaces later on in the game. So, I don't know, maybe this is what they're addressing. Hopefully it is, so that way, everything's even, all players are on an even playing field, not being shot through certain sides. Loading into a black screen, I never had this bug, actually. I got lucky for the beta, or the alpha. Never seen this at all. The only issues I ever had were on day 1, like I said, where I couldn't load into the game, but that's more the servers than anything else. Definitely wasn't anything to do with the game itself. Picking up guns in Gunfight OS. This one I had issues with. It seemed like you should be able to run over guns in this mode and pick them up if you don't have any guns or you don't have a secondary. You should be able to pick up a primary and a secondary by running over weapons. And then from there you should have to swap if you want to pick up a different gun. That was kind of annoying, and it seemed like there were times like I would try to pick them up and I'd hold square down and it'd be charging up the gauge, and then it would just disappear off my screen as if I like looked away from the gun but I wasn't moving. So hopefully that's what they're talking about here with this fix as well. I assume anyway. But I think that's gonna do it, guys, for this alpha review. I think that's everything. They are looking into issues, they are listening to the community, and that's actually really huge, because I don't think Call of Duty's listened to the community in a long time. I think that they've just always thought that they knew what was right for the game. There is one more thing I wanted to talk about. I don't remember if I talked about it in the earlier clip, but there is bullet drop. I swear there's bullet drop in the multiplayer. I know they said they're bringing it to single player, but I'm pretty sure that it is in the multiplayer to some degree, because it seemed like the idle sway wasn't that bad on the guns. And if you don't know what idle sway is, it's when you're standing still and you just hold down the ADS. You can see your guns sway back and forth. It didn't really seem like there was a lot of issues with that in this game. It seemed very small. So, it definitely felt like bullet drop. But anyway, like I said, that's going to do it for this review, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you got a chance to actually play the alpha. Let me know what you guys thought of the alpha. Are you guys going to get the beta as well? So, let me know. Be sure to comment, subscribe to the video if you guys enjoy the content. I'm going to try to do more videos like this. I think the next one is going to be probably something with the Final Fantasy VIII Remaster, because that comes out, I think, next Saturday or Sunday. So, be on the lookout for that. Like I said, I'll be live for that too if you guys want to come hang out with me for the Final Fantasy VIII launch on September 3rd. I'll link the Twitch down below. Be sure to follow, and you guys will know when I go live. And come hang out with me. We can reminisce about the old Final Fantasy VIII days. So, thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later.
proper English welcome.